We're back in Way here at the Tompkins Blacksmith Museum, and this is Kenny Tompkins, and he has a working well. And this is part 2. If you've not seen the first episode, go back and look for it there. I'll try to put a link to it in the description. But he has a working well. How long's it been since you've seen anybody draw some water out of a well? Come on up here, Jody, so we can film this here. Let's see what's going on. Tell us what you're doing here now.
Okay, this is my grandpa's well bucket. They hold about 2 gallons, I guess, around that. But I can remember drawing water out of this well to feed the livestock in the barn here. But today I'm just going to draw some for us to see that it still works. You let the bucket down until you hear a thud when it hits the water. And whether you can pick that up or not, and it didn't make the noise too loud. Yeah, we got water. I went down too far. I don't know how far it is. I'd say it's 60 or 70 feet. It's not real deep.
Did your grandpa put this well in?
I guess he did. It once had a date on it here. You can see it's pretty well full of water. And then you just pull it and put it to your bucket. And you pull the little latch right here. And you got your water. And it about filled up my cedar bucket, but my cedar bucket is leaking. I believe it's not been used in a few years.
Well, if any of you all that's watching right now have ever used a well like this, leave us a comment, let us know. So did they use this all the time, or did they eventually get city water in their house?
Eventually got city water. Yeah, I don't think my grandma didn't have city water, but they drilled another well. I think you've seen the well house. They drilled another well besides this one.
Well, let's go over here a minute and let's show them your sign, then we'll look at your barn.
Okay, I'll just pour my water out here. Let my bucket dry.
So wait a minute now. I see where the water comes from now, probably right here.
That's the city water tap.
Times has changed, ain't they?
Yeah.
Got you a nice source right there. Don't have to get out in the heat and the cold and all of that. Now, did that still work okay in the wintertime, I guess? They still had water in it in the winter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it kept water.
Let's look at your sign right here. People might have seen this if they're coming over here in the Rugby and Allard area. This is Highway 52 right here. It goes between Highway 27 and 127.
Yeah. The old road, Rugby Pike, went right up here where Buck Lane is now. And this road come through here and cut off two acres of Grandpa's land.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the reason the barn is so close to the highway.
Oh,
the barn was built before the highway was.
So the main road was originally on over.
Right on up there.
How about that? Okay, I've seen that old Rugby Pike sign sometimes, and I've never got on. It looks like a gravel road in most places.
Yeah.
So what we got going on? I stopped by here one day and looked in. You had all kinds of neat stuff in here.
I've got quite a bit of junk, and I guess some people call it treasure. I call it treasure anyway.
Got the Tennessee flag here.
Yeah, I have several flags in there. I put up a different one. I've got my Tennessee flag up there for today.
University of Tennessee flag there.
Looks like it's flipped over and not showing right. There's my sunflower if you want to get it. I try to grow something big every year. I tried pumpkins first and I couldn't get over about 300 pounds. And then I tried watermelon. I grew a 112-pound watermelon. So now I grew a big sunflower this year.
I see that. So they've already come in, the sunflowers are over with for the year? Or?
I don't know much about them. I just hope that one keeps. I don't know. A guy over at Brooks's this morning told me he put one out like that, and he said the birds went ahead and ate the seed out of it. So they might do that one that way. I don't know. The ladder, the old ladder you can see up there.
Oh yeah.
That was always right here, and that's where my grandpa was found dead right there. That's the only thing I remember about him. That was back in 1957, I believe, when he died. You can't see my pheasant very good, or not pheasant. Yeah, it's a ringneck pheasant. That's what it is. They come from down here at Sawbriar.
Yeah.
I fed it for about a month down there, a bird feeder, and then it finally got out here on the road and got killed. So I stuffed it.
Oh, so it was a live pheasant here on your property?
Yeah, for a while, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, when they miss one over there, well, they'll come to some people's houses, you know, to try to find food, because they're pretty much tame. They're not very
how about that? I didn't know that. So
and
did
they
you
won't,
get to
they
feed
won't
that
survive.
one?
Yeah, they won't survive around here on their own, don't seem like. Yeah. The other things up there is that's an old tobacco baler. we once raised tobacco and put it in this barn, and that was used to bale tobacco.
Yeah, that's I've seen a big one time over there in North Carolina at Hart Square Village. They got a huge one.
Yeah.
Do like a 500-pound bale.
Sure do. This room was no crib, corn crib, and I got it one day. Now that floor is still solid, so I cleaned it out. Now watch your head, John. It's got a low ceiling, but you don't want to get bumped. A lot of the stuff I put in here is try to make it kind of like a kitchen. In 1918 was when my dad was born, and when the shop was first built up here, the blacksmith shop. So I thought in 2018, well, I'll try to put some stuff in here from an old kitchen. That's an old school bell. You can ring. These are signs that I put on the barn out there, you know, for different seasons.
Okay.
I've got one here I can't use anymore. Of course, leap year I just use every 4 years. I hope I get to use it again. Now that's the one I don't use anymore. Remember, Veterans Day was on the 11th month and the 11th day.
Yeah.
Back in 2011. Okay. Around here behind you is that what I was talking about, George Washington's fan. We were blessed to go to Mount Vernon on a trip to Washington, D.C., and I happened to notice in his house, that's a picture of it that I got, a fan that had a foot treadle, or fly shore, I don't know which one it was, maybe both, that he had where he could operate it with his foot under his desk. Now mine don't work too good, but you can see how it would operate. And that would give you a little breeze over your head.
Give you a little exercise too.
We got it so good in this day and time, don't we? There's a guy give me that worst thing. I guess they'd call it a dish pan, maybe, I don't know. But the guy gave me that. He said his mother would give him a bath in that when he was a good friend of mine, Tommy Maddox. He's donated more things than anybody else. Of course, my brother has donated a lot. He's gone to watch the Tennessee game, or he'd probably be up here with us today.
He was here when we filmed last time. They'll probably get to see him in the. We'll add that part in. We filmed another building here at the end of this video, so we'll add that in. So they'll get to see your brother from the last trip was here.
Now, dried possums out there in the old garage. Of course, you filmed some out there. I've got some stuff over here. Oh, and a push lawnmower. Of course, I had a neighbor out here that he's still alive, lives in Dayton. He said he could remember when a boy, his dad would have him pushing that push lawnmower, and they're hard to operate if you ever tried it. He said he would tie a string around his brother's waist and tie it onto that so he could help him. You know, he would pull while he's pushing.
Yeah, they'll give you some exercise too, won't they?
Yeah. Oh, that's a John Deere corn shelter there. Somebody painted that up. It's an old corn shelter, but now they done a good job painting that.
They did, didn't they?
I didn't do that. These are called clicking bands. I guess I ought to get one of them out here and show you. The Historical Society had me make some of those. They're supposed to come down here too, I guess as a result of your video. They're supposed to come down here in October.
Well, good, good.
This was a toy that they used called a clicking band. And I don't know, this is the band, this is the click, I guess. Well, my dad talked about they roll these a lot, but they just get it started and try to keep it going. And if you got good at it, you'd keep it going and then pick it up with your click. I didn't quite do it.
Now, did somebody try to take it away from you, or is it a game?
I guess they raced. They had races.
Races, okay.
And I don't know. Probably done tricks with them. I don't know.
And I don't know that toy. If anybody's watching, maybe they know it. They
I remember my dad. I've got one out there my dad made, and he talked about they used it a lot. Yeah. Let's see. There's something else I brought up here. I was going to show you. I didn't show you down there at the other building. When somebody comes, don't stay too long, I always think, I should have showed them that.
You got so much you can't sit in one trip.
Well, I don't know whether I showed you this or not, but I made this back during COVID. That was a social distance handshaker.
How about that?
A social distance handshaker. Now this is my best hiking stick. I won't give you that one, and I'll give you another one. I've never found one with that good a curl on it, you know, that's straight. A lot of times that honeysuckle vine will bend them over.
Yeah.
And they're hard to straighten, but that one was just grew straight by itself.
So you go out just looking for them to make the walking sticks, I guess.
Yeah, me and Larry get out in the wintertime, and that's when I make those, is the wintertime when I don't have too much to do. I guess that's all I was going to show you in here. Unless you need to write your name with a feather.
Where did that school chair came from? It came out.
I probably come from Army Fleet School. I don't like it. Do you know why? I'm left-handed. That's a right-handed. It's hard to find. I've been looking for me one left-handed, but I've not found one yet. But they made them. And there's something else. Oh, you haven't been in here yet, have you?
No, we've not been in this style.
This is my newest room, but it's still got some pretty old stuff. I don't know. Some of these, I guess, were Dad's tools. There's the well bucket that my grandpa had. I won't use it down there on the well because I want to keep it. Now that was a sign. It don't say what school it was. It just says Tennessee School Zone. I dug that out of Clear Fork River down here.
Well, that's a nice find.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of sticks over there.
Yeah, that's where I was going to let you pick one out. We'll let you pick one out here in a minute.
I'll go ahead and get it, or I forget it. Last time I was going to get one, we never made it over here.
Yeah. Oh. And Jodi too, if she needs one. If she wants one. I took a seed collection to the fair, put seeds in this jar and got first place on it. Put a bunch of seeds. That's a pumpkin seed from a friend of mine grew a pumpkin up here. It was the biggest at the Allard Pumpkin Festival, 1,405 pound.
Well,
I got a seed out of it.
People might know the Allard from the Pumpkin Festival. They probably remember hearing about the pumpkin. They do that every year.
Every year, yeah.
How long's that been going on down there?
First weekend in October. Oh, I don't know. It was started by Jim Asbury several years ago. Yeah. I remember he was the first one that grew a 700-pound pumpkin, and that was really big.
How about
when he grew that. Anymore, it needs to be about twice that much to do good. Now, in the Bible, you know, you read about the mustard seed being the smallest.
Yeah.
And it may have been over in Jerusalem, but now that's tobacco seed, if you can see them.
Oh, my goodness.
They're extremely, I remember my dad sowing tobacco seed, and he would mix them with sand and then spread it, because if you didn't, you'd get the seed too thick, you know.
Okay.
It's so tiny.
Mix it with sand. How about that?
There's a ginseng seed. I think you talked about you'd maybe grew some ginseng.
No, I didn't grow it, but my mom and dad used to hunt it all the time.
Yeah, well, my dad hunted it.
I didn't know.
One of his favorite things. I've got poison ivy down there, but I never did go get a poison ivy seed.
No, I'm allergic to that. That's not good.
I better not get that. Now, that's some pictures I grew. I tried to get artistic one winter back in 2014, and that's my dad's shop, and most of them are buildings that's gone now, except for my barn that's still here. I done it. My dad grew ginseng. That was a ginseng patch I tried to grow down there. And that's over here towards Shirley. I don't know if you've heard of Shirley or not. That's a nearby community. And there's a bridge down there that crosses a creek. And one year, it's been a few years back, this boy's riding a bicycle over through there. And they told the boy, you don't want to go too fast over this hill because there's a curve down there where that bridge is at. And of course, I don't know whether he didn't listen good or what, but he hit that bridge. It throwed him over the bridge, and he hit rocks down below, and it killed him.
Oh my goodness.
And he wasn't that old, just a teenager.
I like your radio over here.
Yeah, you don't see them too much anymore.
No, I've got one something like that, but I like yours, I think,
I'm
better.
gonna have to get a better light in here. I don't have enough light in here. But like I say, I had this at the fair too. I got first place. Now this was actually over at Rugby. This is my grandpa, great-great-grandpa, I should say. He had a house at Rugby. It tells about it right there.
Oh, okay.
From a Rugby book. Tag in a way, but he had a blacksmith shop over there too. But
Delaney Tompkins.
Don't know what it. Delaney Tompkins, yeah. That's a gourd collection I took to the fair and got first place. I actually took another gourd collection a few years ago, and they gave me best of show on it. I had several. I had a little mask I'd made out of a gourd, And of course a gourd rattle, the Indians would make gourd rattle. And they liked it pretty good, so they gave me
Well,
first
looks like
place
you're
on it.
quite the Appalachian artisan.
I try to be, but I'm not very good at carving.
It's like you kind of got a lot of art stuff that you built.
That's actually a muskie me and Larry caught one year. I've got it wrote on there, and I made a model of it. Of course, we eat it. It was 6 pounds, 26 inches. That was November 2007. A pretty good while ago.
Well,
yeah. You got your 2 sticks already.
Yeah, I got picked us out a couple of
this
sticks.
is a huge old pot that come from a neighbor here that Woodrow Buck and Clyde Buck were our neighbors. And Woodrow Buck, I don't know whether you ever heard of him or not, but he was a prisoner of war in Red China for about 3 years. And he finally got released. And I remember seeing him after he was released, but I never did think to talk to him about it. But there are actually books wrote about it.
Well,
I've checked out a book from the library and wrote about it. But it's not this one, there's one out there in the other building that Tommy Maddox gave me. And he knew a lady that bought it. He bought it in 1939 for $3 up at Allert. Well, that would be
$3.
It probably cost you $100 today, wouldn't it?
Probably more than
one that big. Well, John, have you seen enough in here? Oh, I'd better show you this. This was hard work. You ever watch Texas Country Reporter?
Don't believe so.
It's on television on Friday night. I usually watch it, but I seen a guy on there making signs with the sun using a magnifying glass.
Oh.
So I decided I'd try that. And I done it, but now I wouldn't want to do another one because it took me too long. It took a long time to do it. You had to keep that magnifying glass just at the right angle, you know, to get it.
How about that? I had to keep
hot
moving
enough
it.
to-
How long did it take you to do something like that?
I don't know. I know I done part of it, and it got too cloudy or something. It quit burning, so I had to go back and finish it later. And I would guess I put maybe at least 3 hours in it. It was slow going. That's about it in here. That's a walnut that come off of this place. Walnut tree that blowed down during the last tornado we had through here. And I decided I'd make something out of it. I've got that. Then I've got a table down at the house that I made out of it. There are TVs on. Oh, well, we'll move on over here. You say Jodi wanted to see the dried possum?
I don't know. Where's it at?
It's out there in that other building. Did you film Moody's Million out there?
No.
My
what's
wife's
that?
nicknamed Moody's. If you
What's
don't
that?
know who I'm talking about. Million seeds in a jar, in a jug.
Oh, I don't know. We talked about it. You had it out there, right?
Yeah, we'll go back out there and look at it. Now this was used to pick loose hay out of a barn. This was up in the top of the barn. Some of these old barns still have them in it. That was a track that it run on. This right here is what they used to pick up the hay with. Well, I can get it out there or not. But those little pieces right there, they would pull up when you push down in a load of loose hay. You could pick up the whole load of hay. That's hardly hard to believe, but now that's what they say. I never did see it done, but I've got a friend that said he did, that he could remember seeing it done. This is a shave horse. I never have used that one, but I've got one down at the house I've used a whole lot. And it looks kind of complicated, but really all it is a vise to hold your piece of wood on, like to make hiking sticks or other items. You just set right there, and then you put your piece of wood in there, and your foot can hold it.
Right.
So it's easy to release, you know. Well, if I had some corn, I'd shelve some corn, but I'm not got any corn right now. You see my distance sign over here? How far it is to wherever?
No, let's look at it. No, I never paid no attention to that one.
I can't get the state to do their job here. They should have bush hogged this down when they come through.
So here we are. We're in Armithwaite.
Yeah, we're right here at Armithwaite.
7 miles to Allard, 3 miles to Clear Fork, 12 miles to Jamestown, Mount Healing, 125 miles to Nashville, 65 miles to Oak Ridge, Stockton, Huntsville, and Jerusalem, 5,400 31 miles. How about that?
Oh, if I had it do over instead of Clear Fork, I'd probably put Brooks's on there.
Brooks Store, yeah.
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 That's about the same as the distance to Brooks Store, isn't it?
What are we looking at over here, this piece of equipment out here?
Oh, that's a rake that's pulled by, you can pull it by a tractor, of course, but you don't have to hook it up to the PTO. The wheels turn it, so it's fairly old, but it's not extremely old. It's one I actually used when I had cows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is we didn't really talk about the house too much last time. This was your grandpa's house?
Right, yeah, it's built about 1912. I think he got the land in 1910. Of course, I guess it may have been all woods then. Nothing cleared, but he got 25 acres for $245. That wouldn't pay the tax now, would it?
No, things has went up a little bit, ain't they?
Yeah. That's a toy that they used at Armithwaite School. I think that can come from Allert. But I remember when we bought some of them at Armithwaite School, we'd have 6 kids on that, one on each, 2 on each end, and 2 here in the middle.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And of course, they would just go back and forth, you know. They would turn it up and hold the little kids up in the air and not let them down.
I don't think I've ever seen one like that, Kenny.
We bought six of them up there at Armithwaite School, and boy, the whole school was riding them there for a few days. You'd have a big line at each one. This is a sawbuck, you know, used to cut logs with a crosscut saw. I've got some crosscuts. We've cut a few every once in a while with a crosscut saw. Sawbuck.
Well, let's cut into this video here where we, from the last time, I'll show them. We'll go to this building over here.
Yeah.
And I've got that filmed already.
I'll bring the dried possum out here and show it to Jodi.
Okay.
And I got a board out there that's 24¼ inches.
How about that?
A little over 2 foot.
Ain't no wood like that around much no more, are they?
Much, no.
Well, that's a pretty big house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now what's the double doors on the back?
Well, now that's my trickery.
You tell me.
I once put round bales of hay in it.
You put round bales of hay in it.
So I decided I'd try to fix this side up. That's what that hole is there. That's where that big flue was. That's the reason there's a hole.
So now at one time they've had a phone right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's from back in the day. Looks like did it run underground out to the road?
No,
into the house?
It went up here and went out to the pole over there, I guess, yeah.
So this is the garage.
This
here,
is the garage, yeah. Don't know just when it was built, but I would guess maybe the 20s. Of course, I put the door up to it.
Oh, you got a whole nother museum in here.
Yeah, I've got this full now. Got this about
I
full.
wasn't expecting all this in here.
I guess start over here. Yeah, there's a Smithsonian exhibit they done, I don't know, a few years ago up at Jamestown, and we took some stuff up there, and that's a poster. They've got a big poster like that up at the historical place at Jamestown.
Yeah.
Of Dad in the shop. I've got me a big hornet's nest.
Now did you capture that yourself?
I got that down below my house there, yeah, one year.
Now tell me how you go about doing that. Where they
just wait
in the
till
winter time?
Yeah. Actually, they left that one in September.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's November.
Now where do they go to in the winter?
They all die off, I reckon, but one.
And so they keep eggs in there that hatch back out?
They hatch, a lot of them hatch out, but now they don't use it anymore. They'll go down in the winter time. They'll come apart in the winter time.
Evidently there's eggs going to the ground.
Oh, to the ground, I got
And
you.
you passed the Tennessee reading test here
Probably not.
long ago.
Pigs, see them pigs, them were not pigs. A in
Mud.
A in the mud, see them run, RM pigs, governor's signature witness.
Had 3 witnesses there. I don't know what governor that was.
So you got some paintings over here. What's this about?
Got to step down here, John.
Okay.
Oh, that was just a puzzle somebody put together. Now this is the painting I was talking about of Brooks's bargain barn over there, and that's actually an old truck that he had. Miss Tiffany's grandpa, great grandpa.
I guess.
Great grandpa, I guess.
Yeah.
Bob was.
Now it looks like they had built some kind of little building out beside the barn, right?
They did. Yeah, he had an addition. He had an office in there. I remember Bob did.
Yeah.
He got.
That's one of the things I didn't see hardly any pictures of that at all. I can't remember seeing any pictures of the barn over there. I got a lot of pictures, but
That was well known over here because a lot of people got it.
oh yeah, I talked to a lot of people at the store, and they'll say they've got furniture they bought 50 and 60 years ago, still from there.
That old cash register just got a short time ago. A neighbor down here donated it, and it's pretty old, but it's actually electric. I don't have the cord to it, but it was actually electric. And that thing weighs over 100 pounds.
Oh my goodness!
It's terrible heavy.
I can imagine. They make them out of plastic nowadays.
I guess so. You could actually still, if I remember how to do this. That should stay down. I don't guess I do, Larry. I didn't. I'm not got room to crank it anymore. Well, I was going to show you it will open, but I've got too much crowded in here to do it, I guess. Now let's try it. They're not staying down today. There, this three stayed down. Yeah, there it come open. That's the way you have to open it. Still got some old money in it.
It does, don't it?
Yeah, but I placed that in there. And it's some with dates on it, so it's not worth much. It had something in it from the Wilder mines. Now them didn't come back up. I guess that's when after you crank them in it. See, it's supposed to be electric. Now I'm operating it manually, so that's
I heard a few more
working too good.
license plates he's got up here.
Yeah, that Alaska's hard to forget.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, Larry got me that one. That's the year I was born, 52. I thought New Mexico was pretty interesting. It's got New Mexico, USA. I guess so people know it's not old Mexico. Oh.
Got some kind of, what's
Yeah,
this?
here's a model of Armithwaite in the 1960s. And that's, of course, it's pushed together, but now that don't cover over about 3 or 4 miles here. And here was the church down here that we passed. This was Dad's blacksmith shop. This post office right here. And then a store here, store here. There's a school. That's where I taught for 10 years. And me and Larry both went there.
Now, is the school still there? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
The building is. Yeah,
Okay.
part of the building is, yeah.
Part of the building, yeah.
Yeah, he had some relatives that lived in there. This is Centerbell Church. It's still there. This two churches are still here. And that's the Charlie Brooks' store, that calendar, you know, you was looking at down there.
How about that?
Yeah,
It was down here. I've heard them talk about it before, but I never know exactly where it was at.
yeah.
Well,
This,
there's a building there now. I mean, a store building, and where that used to be, right there across from Centerbell Church at.
Okay.
yeah, that's the last store we had down here.
That two-story building. Like
Yeah.
that.
This is my dad's blacksmith shop, or our dad's blacksmith
Did you
shop.
build this?
Model of it, yeah. I had that at Fentress County Fair one year.
I'm picking up you like to do some woodworking.
Yeah.
You did?
In the winter, I have to find some project to do. Yeah. Now that was the first church down here, not the one that's here now, but it was supposed to, when they built it in 1877's when they got in it, it had a round rock in the middle of it, and they just built a fire in there on that big rock and let the smoke come out the top of the building.
So it's built around the rock.
Yeah. Now there's no pictures of it. That's just my idea of what it looked like. But they said it had 12 corners, and it had a little room where they went in where they put their guns, stand their guns, you know.
Okay.
And then it had a main big area, of course, for them to seat on split logs. And then the area where the preachers would sit, and of course the pulpit where they preach from. Yeah.
Now that's set right out about in the middle of where that cemetery is out there now.
Okay.
Yeah. Which our church now is over 100 years old. Right here's a book on our church. I can give you a copy of that if you want it.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. Our church was built in 1907 that we're still using today.
Yeah, I remember seeing
You
that.
may want me to hold it for you though.
I might hold on to
You
it.
hold on to it.
What we got over here? We got some.
A little bit of everything. Get into some glass stuff over here. Of course, that's a grinder. Larry donated this. This was a grinder from our dad's blacksmith shop that you would sharpen axes or whatever on, you know, you wanted to sharpen. This is supposed to be the Cadillac of washboards. If they've got glass in them,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be the better.
Wonder what that made that better. Wonder whether that was better than
I don't know that.
sheet metal.
You'd have to ask the ladies that, I guess.
Just as prettier anyways, maybe.
No cedar well bucket that our mom and dad had.
So yeah, it looks like you've got a whole museum for your community here, and I can't never pronounce it. Armorthwaite.
That's one of those English words from England, from rugby over there. This guy come over here from rugby and named it Armorthwaite.
Now say it now.
Yeah. Armorthwaite.
Armorthwaite.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to say it a few times.
It was named after a place in England.
In England,
It's called
Armorthwaite.
All right.
Yeah. Sure is. Yeah. I got a set of the green jars that everybody likes to collect.
Yeah.
1 through 15 or 0 through 15, but there's one missing. Which one do you think it is?
13.
You know about that?
I sold one of them not long ago.
Moonshiners are
The
supposed
13.
to break them. I got mine locked up in here.
You got it hid, huh?
Yeah.
You do have it.
I tell people that and just pop it right open. That lock's just on overlooks. Yeah, I've got a half a gallon. No, that is not a 13. I lied. I don't know what that is. That's just a real old one, I guess. It's got bubbles in it. Here's my 13, yeah.
Now tell me again.
I think it's more for looks. It's a 20-pound hammer that I've got.
And somebody thinks they actually used one.
I actually used that. He's a logger. But you can tell that never has been used much. You know, you look at some of these hammers that like Dad had, you can tell that
Yeah.
has been used a lot. But
Now that's not been swung a whole lot right there.
I don't think so. No. One guy picked it up and said, that hurt my back. I shouldn't have picked it. Oh, that's a spud. You ever see a spud? I didn't know what a spud was either till I Googled it. That's to take bark off of a tree. We and Larry used it a little bit. Take bark off a walnut tree. We had cut. These are some traps, of course. They had several traps. I usually, when I go out and do something, I'll set one and let some kid, you know, put a stick in it, you know.
Yeah.
Now Dad would set it with his hand in cold water.
Yeah.
But now I don't do that. I use my foot when I set one. You want to say it?
No.
No?
That thing was a drag that he'd put on traps that he couldn't anchor them real good, you know, they'd put a drag.
Just catch on something. You gotta get away. Yeah.
Now that one there is what they call a connerbar trap.
Connerbar, yeah, that would kill them when you got one in there. It would choke them. Well, that's a little animal made from a piece of railroad rail.
Yeah. You can kind of see that in it there.
Yeah. This is some of my sticks that I've made that I kind of want to keep because every one of them is kind of unusual. Like this one is a beaver stick. Beaver's done all that except the handle. Then Larry got out and found it. So they can make it pretty good looking stick.
Well, do they eat the bark?
Eat the bark, yeah, that's what they eat, yeah. And of course they cut it on both ends. And of course you have to hunt quite a bit to find one that's just about the right length. You know, most of them shorter than that you find. Oh, and of course I've got some that, this one kind of looks like tried to make it look like a rattlesnake on it. A little bit.
Now what's this thing right here beside of this snake skin?
Oh, that's another stick I made. It's just shorter. I done some of that on a turn and lay.
Okay.
Turn and lay this part here that's round. Got one for the solar eclipse, you know, that we had a few years ago.
Yeah.
Solar eclipse. That was out of cedar, I guess. I didn't show the best one I've got down there that's a snake stick. That's ones that we've hunted for a long time a lot because the honeysuckle vine, you know, goes around a stick and you just cut off the part in between and leave the bark. And that most of the time the honeysuckle will kill the stick, but this time the stick killed the honeysuckle, I believe. It's got it completely enclosed. This is one during the ice storm that bent everything over. And you see that, and still bent. That's a little cedar tree. That may be the one you want. It's a bent one.
Well, they're nice, all of them that you got there.
Well, I've got some out there that I give away, of course.
Okay. Gave us some walking sticks.
Oh, cool.
So I know you want to do some walking.
Yeah.
I guess if one of them got
Should have had these in the
I put a cross on some of them. Oh, John, I guess that's
Yeah, I
John's
got the one with the cross,
on it.
yeah.
I love it. Those are nice.
I've got some more out there with a cross on it if you want one with a cross on it.
Yeah.
You'd rather
I
have
picked this one's mine. I picked this one out. You can go look here in a minute. He's going to show you something in this bag here. What you got, Kenny?
It's a dried possum. This was found in a guy's barn, and he hadn't been in it for a long time. And evidently the possum just got in there and died, and it dried. Because, I mean, it don't smell or nothing, but as you can tell, it's kind of bad shape, but it's a dried possum.
Dried possum.
Yeah.
How bad? Bless his heart.
Oh. Our grandkids.
Good life.
Yeah. You got that model in there of Armorthwaite 1960?
Yeah.
I was going to tell you what my grandson Landon said. This was back, I made it several years ago when he was about, I don't know, 5 or 6. But he looked at that and looked at all the stores and thought a minute and he said, "Where's Walmart?" that's what kids expect today, wouldn't it?
No Walmart.
There'd be a Walmart.
I mean, look at this building, Jody. He's got another building down there by his house we filmed last time, and we got footage of this last time we come in here. So he's got a thing
I didn't know
here.
whether you got Moody's Million or not.
Well,
I guess you did. I remember.
right there, look
I
at
think
that.
I told you about it. So
it's got 1 million seeds in that.
Yeah, I've got margin of error at 10,000.
Did I count the seeds?
I did, yeah.
A million.
You wanted me to pour it out and you count them and check me out?
No, I think I passed.
But no, I didn't just count them one at a time, of course, but I did. It is close because I would count out like 500 in a little container.
Yeah.
And then you could just, and measure how far it went up. Then you could just dump,
Oh,
and you
okay.
go up
How many
Pretty
different
quick.
seeds you got in there?
1 million.
I mean, what type? Different.
Oh, what type? Oh, I've got corn 5,000, sunflower 25,000, rice. Now, rice is a good one to put in there. You can do good with rice. 180,000. Birdseed, which is sunflower, black sunflower. I've got 2 different kinds of sunflower, I guess. Mustard seed 5,000, poppy seed 150,000, celery 220,000. Dills, you see I had to get the smaller ones when I got up close to the top because I seen I was going to get full before I got to 1 million. So I ended up with 1 million. Give or take about 10,000.
Wow.
Oh.
So yeah, here's the what Armorthwaite used to look like.
Yeah,
right
that's
here.
what I was talking about that Landon mentioned. Where's Walmart with all them stores? That was this community in 1960s. It had that many grocery stores.
Is that when the road came through? When did it change? Was this is this stuff here on this new road 52 or is it on the old road?
The new road come through here in the 30s.
In the
I guess.
30s, okay.
Yeah.
Look at this grinder, coffee
That's
grinder.
Coffee grinder, yeah, I've got some.
Coffee grinder.
I ground some with it. Matter of fact, I've got a little bit in there that I ground. And a few beans there on top.
Still works, huh?
Still works, yeah. Oh yeah, it's smooth. It was a good. I didn't have hardly enough blueberries, so I put a few can of pineapple. Now you can probably tell what that is from the seed.
Blackberry?
Blackberries. I don't take the seed out.
I love blackberries.
A lot of people don't like those seed in there, but
Now,
I don't go to the trouble of taking that seed out.
did you say your wife made this up?
No, I make the jam.
Oh,
She
you
does-
make it.
She does the cooking and the
You do jam.
canning of the beans and tomatoes, but I do the jam. I've made some fig jam. I've made a lot of different kinds of jam. I got some pear jam. When you come back, I'll give you some pear jam.
Okay, yeah.
Pear
We like
jam.
food, we'll come back, food brings us back.
Well, glad you come. I've got
Thank you.
I've got some good remarks from the first video.
This is blueberry?
Yeah, it's got a few pineapple in it. You don't have
Blueberry
too many.
pineapple.
Oh, I bet that's
Pineapple.
good.
And that's black. I may have a few blueberry in it too, but not very many.
We will sure eat it.
I think you'll like it. Now, I don't use the regular Sure-Gel. I use that don't take quite as much sugar. So it's not quite as sweet as some jam that you get. Now, I made some cherry jam one year and used those sour cherries, and my kids wouldn't eat it. You put any sugar in that? Yeah, I put what I was supposed to, but it wasn't enough. It was still sour.
All right, well, Kenny, we appreciate you showing us around again. It's interesting seeing all these old Appalachian tools and blacksmith
Glad to
tools.
do it.
And if y'all haven't seen the first video, make sure you check it out. He goes into the first building down there by his house, and we go through and we look at about half the stuff. We don't even see half of it, but there's some cool stuff in that first video. He's just right down. We know Kenny from the Brooks videos, RM Brooks. He comes down. He's one of the locals that comes on Saturday mornings that we film a lot, and he's down there with the local guys. And so we got to knowing Kenny from there, and then finally got down here and made the second part of this video. It cooled down a little bit. It was hot the first time.
Feels better
A
today.
little bit better. So, guys, make sure to leave Kenny a comment there, and if you see anything in here that you remember from your childhood or that you might even still use today, leave us a comment, let us know. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed so you can keep updated. And we'll see y'all in the next video.
See you
Thanks
next
for watching.
time.
Bye-bye.